Hey everybody, welcome back to our fourth and final segment on today's Gone Outdoor Radio. You're listening on Kello News Talk or KWSN or the mighty 790. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agri, Brewer Agri Outdoors, and we're going to chat with a gentleman. If you're a long-time listener, you've heard Josh before, but it's been a little bit since we had him on. Josh So-Wada. He is our Gone Outdoors waterfowl expert. Bert, welcome back to Gone Outdoors.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. I really appreciate it.
It is our pleasure. So, what is the update on conditions out there? You know, we've had kind of an unusual fall.
Yeah. Well, we've had a pretty warm fall, right? We had a lot of south wind, a lot of 70, 80, 90-degree days, I think even as recently as a couple weeks ago. So
Correct me if
far
I'm
this
wrong, but I don't
Mhm.
think that south wind really helps the migration of waterfowl a whole lot.
Not at all. No. For those birds they're lazy, right? They're like they need that wind to blow from the north to the south, and as soon as it does, they take that opportunity to ride it. So they have to work as little as possible on that migration south. Across the Dakotas, we've had some strong north wind days just in the last week or so, which has really fired up the goose migration. In particular, we're seeing a lot of snow geese in Canada's, the speckle bellies being taken in the area, and that was just with that big front of north wind. So looking forward to more of those.
Yeah, it seems like from what I'm seeing on social media, I have not been out, but from what I'm seeing on social media is people are still doing pretty well. They're starting to find some mallards, they're starting to get a few more geese, and things are starting to
hmm
shape up.
Yeah, they are. Mallards are showing up. Some of those divers for the diver hunters are really starting to see like ringbills, seeing some bluebills, seeing a lot of canvasbacks that have just started migrating here in the last maybe week or so. So ripe opportunity for folks to get out there and get after them.
Hey, Josh, as things start progressing in this migration like they are right now, I mean, especially like you said, after this last week, we've had some real good pushes out of the north. What are some tips for folks that are out there waterfowl hunting, especially those a little bit newer to the sport, in terms of, conditions are changing from day to day, right? Ducks here, they're gone tomorrow, or nothing today, and all of a sudden they show up. What's your best advice for folks hitting that over the weekend?
Over the weekend across the area, starting Friday, we're going to start seeing some north wind again. And the thing that I could advise all folks to do, seasoned or not, would be on those north wind days or the night maybe before it switches north, be out there scouting, be out there looking for them, looking for the migration activity. You know, if you know of a pond that normally has birds on it when the migration is heavy, start watching that pond or that lake or that field because it's about to get good.
So, Josh, here's a newbie question for you. Like Kyle had
hmm
said that these birds can come and go very, very quickly. Let's say you're out Saturday morning this morning and you had a really good morning. There's a lot of birds. That next day, tomorrow, if you still got a good north wind, do you go back to that
hmm
same spot or do you head further south?
That is a great question. So it's going to be a little bit dependent on the spot. So if we're hunting a food source where you've been seeing birds land in, like maybe a field for the last several days, it's 50-50 if that field will produce again for you tomorrow. Kind of depends on how bad you beat them up today.
Hmm.
But if we're going out and we're hunting maybe a larger water source with a lot of decoys, and those birds in the morning, they've been flying all night, migrating all night. In the morning, sun's coming up. First thing they see, big pile of water. That to them is a place for them to go and rest their head. So if you were hunting some water, definitely you could get back after them in the same spot the next day because you're going to be hunting new birds.
I love it. That is great advice, Josh. You mentioned decoys. So let's talk about this, peak migration time of the year and what we need to
Mhm.
have in our setup, whether it's field hunting or water hunting.
To be honest with you, peak migration, I would tell you throw it all at them. Your best going to be on these heavy migration days, going out with a number of decoys, whether they're brand new decoys or they're your grandpa's decoys and they're made out of old foam or whatever, like we want to go for mass numbers on these stiff migration days because it may attract birds to a spot that they otherwise wouldn't necessarily go. But you made it look so good with that many decoys, they just can't help themselves.
So, speaking of decoys, what new gear is out there? What tips do you have that we can make our hunters more successful when they get out?
There are a lot of products out there. Without talking about one or the other, something that I see making a big difference is water motion, right? We're used to a mojo duck or a flapper, like a goose flapper in a field. But if we're hunting water, the worst thing we can have is, and if you're in a decent spot for the wind, you may very well end up being in a calm spot of the pond or the lake that you're hunting on if you're hunting water. And now you've got no motion in your decoys. So one of the things that I see that makes a tremendous difference is just adding motion specifically to the water, whether that's in the form of a jerk string or some other type of decoy. I mean, heck, in Arkansas, they just kick the water and get it to move in between the trees, and that works for them. But it's just a matter of getting that water to move so those decoys have some movement in them. They don't look so stagnant.
So, Josh, you brought up a good point where you said you might be on the calm side of the pond that you're on. Are you better off setting up on the calm side or the windy side or somewhere in between?
We always want to have that wind at our back. Then those waterfowl are going to always, just like an airplane, they're always going to want to land into the wind. So if we think about hunting a point, say on a lake or even potentially on a slow moving river or a pond, and you've got that wind at your back, you may have slack water or flat calm water right out in front of you. Say you're hunting close to shore or you've got cattails at your back, whatever, a wind breaks. So there might be slack water out in front of you where your decoys are at, but not far beyond the decoys. The wind is now starting to hit that water and give it motion. And so that's why I mentioned the motion piece and how you may be on the quiet side because you've got that wind at your back and now you've got slack water in front of you.
It seems to me that there's a renewed interest in waterfowl the last year or two. Am I wrong?
I hear guys say, it's the sport is dying, and I would tell you this year, in fact, more than the last 5 years, at 3:00 in the morning, it's not just me at the landing; it's me and 5 other guys.
That's
Or
a good
it's not
thing.
just me pulling into the field; you pass them all in the gas station on your way out of town.
That's a very good
It seems
thing.
like there are more guys getting into it, young guys too. So that's great to see.
So, Josh, if any of these younger, newer guys got any questions, if they'd like to ask you for a tip or two, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, to get a hold of me, you can find me on Facebook or you can find me on Instagram. It'd be Foul Mouth Outfitters. So that's FOWL, Foul Mouth Outfitters. Like I say, Facebook or Instagram, find me and we'll take you hunting.
This is Josh So-Wada. Josh, we really appreciate you coming on Gone Outdoors and sharing your experiences.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Special thanks to our Gone Outdoors show sponsors, Ray Sport Marine, Adventure RV, Lakeland General Store, Devil's Lake Tourism, Linex of Fargo, Onyx Fish Midwest, Ion Alpha, and Glacial Lake Snow Bear. Thank you for tuning in to today's Gone Outdoors. Follow along when you're on the water or in the field. Gone Outdoor Podcast at KFGO.com, KWSN.com, KELO.com, Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify. You can always visit us at BrewerAgriOutdoors.com and follow us on social media. Until next week, from Scotty and Kyle, we'll be Gone Outdoors.